Is Josh Sweat on his way to Detroit? The Philadelphia Eagles defense shone brightly in Super Bowl 59, but no one stood out quite like pass rusher Josh Sweat. With 2.5 sacks and 7 total pressures, Sweat made a lasting impact on the game, earning recognition not only for his performance in the championship but also for his continued excellence over the season. Now, as he heads into free agency, he's become one of the most highly sought-after players on the market. Sweat's performance solidified his status as one of the top pass rushers in the NFL, but it's also raised questions about the future of the Eagles' defense and the potential destinations for the standout rusher. What makes this situation even more intriguing is Sweat's recent move to hire the services of Drew Rosenhaus, a super agent known for securing massive contracts for his clients. This signals that Sweat is likely seeking a lucrative deal, and whispers around the league suggest that teams are already starting to engage in conversations. Among the most heavily rumored suitors is the Detroit Lions, a team that is in the midst of an exciting rebuilding process. With more than $46 million in cap space, Detroit is well-positioned to offer a deal that could prove too good for Sweat to turn down. The Lions' defense, while showing promise, is still in need of an elite partner for their young star Aiden Hutchinson, and Sweat is seen as the perfect fit to complement him. Sources close to the situation suggest that Sweat is genuinely interested in playing alongside Hutchinson, seeing the opportunity as a chance to be part of a defense that is on the rise. When asked about his future, Sweat has been deliberately vague, neither confirming nor denying the rumors, which only fuels the speculation. Could the Lions already be in negotiations with Sweat, quietly positioning themselves to secure his signature? If so, how far are they willing to go to ensure that they lock up this critical piece of their defense? With other teams likely circling as well, Detroit may need to make an offer that stands out from the pack if they want to bring Sweat to the Motor City. Sweat's 2024 season was a breakout year, perhaps the most dominant of his career. Across 20 games, he racked up an impressive 66 total pressures and 11 sacks, making him a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. His speed, combined with his ability to break through blockers, made him one of the most consistent and reliable pass rushers for the Eagles. Now, with free agency looming, the big question remains, will Sweat be staying in Philadelphia, or is he poised to start a new chapter with the Detroit Lions? If Detroit successfully adds Sweat to their roster, the impact could be seismic. The Lions' offense is already one of the most potent in the NFL, boasting a powerful running game and a promising young quarterback. But it's on defense where they still need to take the next step. Imagine a defensive line featuring both Josh Sweat and Aiden Hutchinson, two of the best pass rushers in the league, wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks. This would not only solidify the Lions' defense, but could also make them one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC. For Detroit, the addition of Sweat would be the perfect capstone to a series of smart off-season moves. Over the last year, the Lions have invested heavily in their defense, acquiring a mix of young, talented players and veteran presence to solidify their squad. Adding Sweat to this group could be the final piece needed to make the Lions a legitimate Super Bowl contender, a team capable of challenging for the title and competing with the best in the league. With Hutchinson already making waves in his early years, pairing him with a player like Sweat would give Detroit one of the most formidable defensive duos in the NFL. However, the Eagles are facing a tough dilemma. With limited salary cap space and other roster needs to address, Philadelphia may not be able to offer Sweat the kind of contract he's likely seeking. The upcoming retirement of defensive stalwart Brandon Graham could signal a shift in the Eagles' defensive plans, making it increasingly likely that Sweat will be looking for a new home. If Philadelphia is unable to re-sign him, they will have to regroup and consider other options to fill the hole left in their pass rush. If Sweat does make the move to Detroit, the ripple effects could reshape the NFC. With a potent offense and an ascending defense, the Lions could be positioned to take the next step toward championship contention. A revamped defensive line would help bolster the secondary, creating more turnover opportunities and making it harder for opposing quarterbacks to operate comfortably in the pocket. The arrival of Sweat would instantly elevate the Lions' defense, making them a force to be reckoned with in the NFC North and beyond. Lions fans, who have been waiting for years to see their team return to prominence, are already buzzing with excitement at the prospect of adding a player like Sweat. After all, it's been decades since Detroit has had a defense with this much potential. Sweat would not only bring immense talent, but also invaluable experience in big moments. Having a player with a proven track record in high-stakes games could be the difference the Lions need to push through in the playoffs and make a run for the Super Bowl. But there's more at stake here than just the immediate impact on Detroit. If the Lions manage to secure Sweat's signature, it could trigger a chain reaction across the free agent market. Other top-tier players may see Detroit as an attractive destination, knowing that the team is serious about making a Super Bowl run. This could lead to additional signings, further solidifying the Lions as a defensive powerhouse in the NFL. As for the NFC North rivals, this potential move could change the dynamics of the division. The Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, and Chicago Bears would all need to reassess their strategies and adjust their offensive lines to account for the added threat of Sweat. A player of his caliber would force teams within the division to invest more heavily in their quarterback protection schemes, potentially shifting the balance of power within the division for years to come. NFL analysts have already begun weighing in on this potential move. Some argue that the Lions should focus on improving their secondary, while others believe that adding Sweat to their defensive line is the most pressing need. Regardless of the differing opinions, one thing is clear. If the Lions want to make a serious run at the Super Bowl, they need to make bold moves like this one. If the Lions manage to seal the deal, what's next for Sweat? Will the team opt for a long-term contract, locking him in for several seasons, or will they sign him to a shorter deal to maintain future cap flexibility? These are questions that will need to be addressed in the coming weeks. The future of Detroit's defense could depend on these decisions. If Detroit is unable to secure Sweat, what are their alternatives? There are still plenty of talented pass rushers available in free agency, but few possess the same level of proven production and immediate impact as Sweat. Will the Lions pivot to another target, or will they turn to the draft to find a suitable replacement? And what does Sweat think of all this? While he's remained tight-lipped about his future, his silence may suggest that behind-the-scenes discussions are already taking place. If that's the case, the Lions could be on the verge of one of the biggest free agent signings of the offseason. For Lions fans, this offseason has the potential to be one of the most exciting in years. After a strong season, Detroit is poised to make the kind of bold moves that could elevate them into the ranks of the NFL's elite. Will Josh Sweat be the player to complete their defensive transformation? Only time will tell.